Hi YouTube, please give me a moment while I connect Facebook. We'll be getting started shortly. I'm waiting. And I think we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody. Welcome to the Strategic Swing Trader weekly broadcast. I am Sami, Director of Education at T3 Live. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are having a good weekend so far. We're going to talk about the market. I'm going to share with you my swing ideas for the week, but also, and maybe more importantly, I'm going to go over Bitcoin. Okay, so make sure to stick around till the end. Before we start, as always, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss in this video is for educational purposes only. If you're new to our channel, please be sure to download the free ebook. Link for that is in the description. If you have any questions, leave a comment or email us, info@t3live.com. And if you find benefit in today's video, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. And make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. And we'll start off by going over Bitcoin. So this is the daily chart of Bitcoin. It's as sloppy as as it comes, as I've ever seen it. But there's something going on here. First, this is an uptrend, okay, which is the first time in a long time that we can say that Bitcoin is uptrending. Here's the most recent lowest low, higher low, and base breakout, higher high, base breakout. Also, that's considered a higher high, basically. So, okay, that's the daily chart. But here's where it gets really interesting. First, the monthly chart has been more or less basing for the last six or 7 months. Okay, that looks like about 7 candles to me. And this month is almost over. The last candle was also a break of the prior lows, so it's a shakeout bar. We broke down, and the market has already taken out last month's high. Okay, so that looks really good. The 20 MA is also catching up on the monthly chart. Okay, look at the weekly chart now. Look what's happening. Some of you might identify this as an inverted head and shoulders pattern, right? You have a higher low on either side of a pivot. That's an inverted head and shoulders. Some might call it a W pattern. Here's what I would call it. We have 1, 2, 3 lower highs. And we have 1, 2, 3 lower lows. And right now, we just put in the first higher low, and we're about to take out, if we haven't already, the most recent lower high. So we're in the process of going in an uptrend on the weekly chart as well. So lower highs, lower lows, well, higher high right here, higher low right here, and this is, as soon as we take this out, that will also be a higher high. So guess what? I don't like the entry here for Bitcoin because it's already up 3 weeks in a row. I'm already in it, but it's already up 3 weeks in a row. What would be even better is if we came in, tried to pivot lower, tried to put in a pivot like so, okay? So here we go. We put in a pivot, let's say, and then went back up and failed on that pivot. That would be the best case scenario. Boom. But to tell you the truth, I'm afraid that's not going to happen. I'm afraid we're just going to keep going up, grinding up. Very sloppy, but the idea on Bitcoin would be to play this breakout higher. It's already triggered. I do this video once a week, so I'm not going to be Johnny on the spot telling you when it's happening, unless you're a subscriber, obviously. But we already broke out on the daily chart. Here's the stop. That's the tightest stop on Bitcoin, meaning you don't even have to put the stop way down here. Now with the tighter stop, one can increase the share size because tighter stop, more size. So it's just a thought for you, just an idea to watch Bitcoin because it's the next thing to I think to break out and move higher. So I like Bitcoin a lot. As for Ethereum, I'm already in it also. I think I have 46.5 Ethereum coins, which is like 125K or so. It has a monthly buy setup. It hasn't triggered. On Tuesday, that bar will close, and the breach of the high of this bar, September's high, will be the trigger of the monthly buy setup. So Ethereum looks really good also. Is weaker than Bitcoin, but on the monthly it looks better. On the weekly, not as good as Bitcoin for sure. So again, what would be the most perfect scenario is to get a small red bar and then to negate that red bar, to fail on it by taking it out on the very next bar. Boom, like so. So, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So there's no guarantee that that will happen. Solana's sloppy, but also been basing after, you know, I don't know, 10-to-1 rally, 1,000% rally almost, right? So it's been basing. So very sloppy stuff, but will also move up with the rest of the crypto market. All right, so that's kind of my take on Bitcoin. I like it higher, and I especially like the weekly and the monthly charts. In terms of the US market, the market continues to be very bullish, but very sloppy. This is not, you know, what we see here. This is not a tight pattern here. This is like a huge W pattern, whatever you want to call it. This is not a tight pattern. It's not a tight base breakout that's setting up. So we're in this sloppy uptrend or sloppy mess, whatever you want to call it. And it's very hard to predict the market's direction on a day-to-day basis. You have to kind of wait until the next morning and see where the market is opening at and try to predict the direction. We gapped up a couple days ago on Thursday and sold off hard. That wasn't great because, you know, when you get a gap up, the gap should hold. If it gets sold, that's not a good sign. And if it gets sold and then you get follow through to the downside, that's also not a good sign, which means, you know, maybe we are a little bit lower, but do I expect the market to crash? Absolutely not. The market is bullish. Don't believe anybody that tells you otherwise. I mean, here it is. That's bullish. You know, the chart is going from here, price is going from the left side to the upper right side. That's bullish. That's bullish. Now, okay, we're encountering some resistance maybe. You know, do we base a little bit? Do we come in fact, and then move up? Maybe. It's sloppy. Again, it's very hard to predict the direction in the short term when the market gets sloppy. In the long term, it's easy because we're still in an all-out uptrend. That's the monthly chart, right? That's the weekly, right? And if we look at the SPY, it's even tighter, cleaner. That's the monthly. That's the weekly. That's bullish. That's bullish. Can we pull back a little bit for a couple days? Maybe, yes, we could. So it's hard to say what the market will do next week, especially the early part of next week. I noticed on the hourly chart, we have a buy setup here. So you see that pullback. If we go higher, then you can mark off the lows. That becomes the reference point or the line in the sand that we should not cross, that we should not break. If we do, then we're probably due for a pullback. The Qs, in fact, started to break the uptrend because here's the buy setup. So that there's the pullback, there's the bounce. You can mark off the low, right? And we're already kind of breaking it. So we didn't really break it totally, broke it by a tiny bit, but closed above it. So do we go higher from here and continue the uptrend, or do we break it and continue lower? Time will tell. We'll find out probably by Monday. But yeah, there is a little bit of weakness. We might continue a little bit lower. We'll find out on Monday. We'll find out on Monday. Okay, so that's the market. The IWM is a daily buy setup actually. The only issue is that daily buy setup is threatening to fail. A buy setup is when you have a pullback. So that's the buy setup. It's threatening to fail because this was a green bar that turned into a big topping tail bar. And so the break of that bar's low means we might be coming in. But I do like the location here. I like the market. I like where it's at to go back up. And if you look at the IWM on the monthly, especially the TNA, the leveraged IWM on the monthly, my goodness, does this look good. It looks really good. It's like a, you know, with a cup with a shakeout, a base shakeout and then higher. So I really do like it higher, but it may take a little bit of time. It's been very, very sloppy for a long, long time also. It's like Bitcoin. It's been hard to predict the direction in the short term. It's not hard to predict the direction at all in the long term because we see what's happening. We have a massive move up and a 6-month, 7-month consolidation at the all-time high. So we know what's going to happen eventually. Now, you never know for sure, but I can be as sure about it as anything, that it's higher. based on the pattern. But you can never be 100% sure, but I'm saying, you know, I'm almost 100% sure that this is higher in the long term. In the short term, when you have a pattern like this, I mean, on the daily chart or the weekly, who knows at what point exactly we're gonna pop. I'm giving you a heads up that the weekly uptrend is, the weekly downtrend is ending, and so I think we should be popping up pretty soon, but we'll see. All right, now on to the swing ideas. I talked a little bit too much, so I appreciate you bearing with me here a little bit. Okay, on to the swing ideas. We have the AGNC. Those are the mortgage REITs, the AGNC, the NLY. There's a bunch of them. They all have buy setups. The NLY I already have. The AGNC is triggered on Friday, but it's not too late to play it long over 10.55 with a stop under 10.30 or so, 32. Now, do I like the AGNC daily chart all that much? No, I don't. But look at the monthly on it. So you see what's happening, right? Downtrend, 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 breaks it. This is what I'd love to see on Bitcoin, is the red bar and then it gets negated, right? So it's breaking that long-term downtrend on the AGNC. And it's real estate, and I'm bullish on real estate. I have Zillow in my core account, in the newsletter also. So I like it higher to $100. Now, why am I not going to talk about Zillow? Because it's too late. You should already be in it if you want it to be in it, right? But AGNC is not too late. It's a buy setup. ALB. So ALB is a nice daily, but it's not a very good monthly and weekly, especially the weekly is just in an all-out downtrend. It's very hard to go against. Again, you know, this is undoubtedly bearish. So it's very hard to pick the bottom when price is just grinding lower. If it accelerates and goes climactic, like say the DG, okay, one can give it a shot because then there's room to move up. But on the ALB, it's hard. The reason why I put it on the list here is to tell you that the lithium stocks, I think ALB is lithium. Look at LAC, might be bottoming. Very, very hard to play because again, it's just a grind on the weekly chart. It's a grindy downtrend, but they may be bottoming. Lithium stocks. So you have ALB, LAC, I don't know what else. You guys probably can just Google the list of lithium stocks. For some reason, those are the only two that come to mind right now. BHC, what an incredible breakdown, and like it turned out to be a shakeout. And then complete retracement, 100% retracement, more than 100%. And now we're basing above the prior resistance. So here's an idea for you. BHC, long over the base, stop right here, target about $9. Oh no, it's more. It's more like 10 and a half maybe. So that's an idea on the BHC, is a base breakout. You know, really bullish move back up after that breakdown. CHWY is a buy setup, but it's a little chewy. It's a little sloppy. Long right here, which is 30 something, 30.65. Stop under 29.18 is daily buy setup. This was a really pretty daily buy setup. See the pullback to the 20 and then boom, worked. So there's another buy setup if it can take out 30.65. Now, what if the stock, you know, what if the stock comes in and fails? Then no harm, no foul. You know, you didn't get in it and it failed. Move on. You know what I mean? I had a call on the EQX. EQX. Why? Because I love that weekly breakout, weekly 1, 2, 3, plus a break above the highs. Well, guess what? The call was over 650 at 652 or so. Never triggered. It got to 650, but didn't go to 652. No trigger. Maybe it didn't even get to 650. Yeah, it got to 650. The call was at 652. 651 would have been acceptable, but I like to give it more than 1 cent. No trigger, no harm, no foul. Just cancel the order. And that's what I did. So the CHWY, if it doesn't trigger, no harm, no foul. CLSK, not my favorite thing in the world at all. These crypto miners, I guess, the CLSK, the Mara, the Riot. But I did get the Coinbase on Thursday. I called it in the room over 175 something and some change, 30.39. So, and look at that in 2 days. Boom, big pop. Now, this is not a crypto miner, but I do like the location on the monthly chart for, you know, especially the CLSK and the Mara. So they look good. They look okay. I don't think they're going to move all the way back up, but they might move to 15 on the CLSK. I don't know what the target would be on MARA, M-A-R-A. MARA looks even better. It's not as damaged as the CLSK, I think. You know, maybe moves up eventually to $27 if Bitcoin really takes off, which is what I'm predicting will end up happening. The rest of the year, early 2025, is when I think Bitcoin will be the one to take off, just like the China stocks just recently did. So, you know, CLSK is an idea over here, stop under the base. The DG, so check this out, the DG and the dollar tree, the DLTR. So if we zoom out and look at the monthly chart, it's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect, but is this a place to buy it or to be selling, to be buying, to be looking to buy it or to be looking to sell it? I would argue this is a good area to be a buyer, not a seller. It'd be ideal to wait for the bar to close, meaning for it to not trigger until Tuesday, because September 30th is on Monday. So is this Monday, so above that bar's high, stop under it as a long-term play. The same with the DLTR. Here's the DLTR. Same thing, down a lot into a multi-year support. You see the prior lows here. Into the 200 MA, so I like the location a lot. The DG has a better entry on the monthly chart. The DLTR has a unidirectional move, so that in that sense it's better. But I'm going with I like the DG a little bit more because it has a better stop at entry and stop. Over 88.10, stop under 83 and some change, I don't remember, 83.50, 60. So as a long-term idea on the DG, okay? FTNT is a base breakout. It's a little bit sloppy, but look, it tried to go lower right here. You see it? And it failed. And it went back up and continued to base. So I like it, especially after the end of the month, meaning after Monday, stop right here as a breakout on the FTNT. Super bullish gap that ended a multi-month downtrend. You see it? Completely ended the downtrend. And the stock never looked back. So it's very, very bullish. FVRR, I don't know if this stock is ever going to take off. I honestly don't know. I tried it multiple times. I always had to end up getting out of it. But it's one of those, you know, one of the ones that took off, fell apart, and has been basing, and is trying to move up. You want a few more of these? Well, I have the TWLO and the Zoom already on the list. So I'm going to go over these. I guess the Zoom I don't have on the list. Do I have it? I don't see it. And Zoom. So Zoom is already an open position. TWLO just triggered in it on Friday. So those two also look interesting. I also have the PayPal, which is not too late on the monthly. See, it's trying to turn the corner. And Roku is trying to turn the corner. There's a bunch. The UIS is the same pattern. But it's a small company, not like the other ones. NCMI, which, oh, it's already on the list. You know, maybe this also turns the corner. So back to the FVRR, it's tough, it's a tough call, but this could be a long-term play also. So the idea would be to play it over here, stop right here. Big stop to start off with, and then if it works, if it pops, takes out the resistance, one can raise the stop quickly and maybe add shares to it, okay? So that's the FVRR. If you missed out on the China stocks, we have a few in the newsletter. Actually, the YUNSEXY already got to target. You see the beautiful base breakout on the YUNSEXY. How could I say no to this? Whether it's Chinese, Korean, who cares? Look how beautiful that is. I mean, just gorgeous. So I got it here, and then when it took out this base a second time, I called out an ad in the newsletter. So we had two different positions in it. Boom. Amazing, isn't it? We also have the BABA in the newsletter from way back here somewhere. So a long time ago. BABA is still in open position. We also have the G, let's see, I don't remember the symbol. It's G, VNet. Why am I thinking G? VNet is also an open position in the newsletter. I have a couple more. The EDU, which I actually got in live while I was on the mic. The MNSO, the same thing, you know, on this day. So we have a few. I would love to have the yen. I don't. I wish I did. But we'll see if it comes in. The problem is people think, well, on the next pullback, the next pullback will likely fail. If we get a pullback at all, will likely fail. because it went vertical. The first pullback after a vertical move up usually is not buyable, so it's going to be tough. But anyways, MOMO looks higher. It's not too late to get it. Now the MOMO has been in a downtrend for 20 years maybe. I don't know how long. For a long time. So it's not my favorite stock to play from the China stocks, but it's one that hasn't completely taken off. The BEKE is also another one that, well, it took off already, but has another entry, an hourly based breakout as a swing. In this case, this could be a longer term over the base, stop under 94 right here. Okay, it's just an idea. NCMI, beautiful base, it's not moving very much. Otherwise, it's a really nice chart. Like, this is as good as anything. As good as anything. Actually, here's another one that I thought of. VMEO is a beautiful monthly chart. The daily and the weekly are probably not ready, but VMEO is a really nice chart. Okay, so I'm watching the VMEO. I don't have an order for it, but I have an alert set up so that if it starts to break out, I'll get a pop-up notification and hopefully can get it. So NCMI over 730 or so, 725. Stop can be as tight as 674 or 645, up to you. The NYCB, now a lot of people have asked me about this in the room, you know, is it ready, and I never thought it was, but look what happened, not last week but the week before. It broke out and now we're getting a pullback. We got a pullback, so it might be ready to break out. So here's an entry right here, and here's the stop, super tight stop, and this would be target 1. So NCYB is just an idea for you. Okay, as a long, anybody get the casino stocks? Remember I went over the LVS and the WIN last week, and I said I think they're bottoming. Amazing if you did. Amazing. This thing didn't budge, so could this be turning the corner also? Is another casino stock. So I would love to see it break out above the highs, or above even just this high. But the problem is, if you wait for it to take out the pivot, then it's a really big stop, right? And the bigger the stop, the smaller the size, right? So another idea would be to just get it here and put the stop here and hope that it actually pops and treat it like a daily buy setup rather than a breakout. Tighter stop, more shares, and if it pops, then amazing. So that's an idea on the PENN. The swim, I forgot to tell you. The swim is another one that looks amazing on monthly. It would be ideal if it doesn't trigger until the bar is finished forming on the monthly chart, which means until Tuesday or later in the month, until after Monday, and then you can treat it as a 1, 2, 3. So this is such a beautiful chart. There is a base breakout on it happening, but it's very weak. That's the weekly. Here's the daily. Sorry, one sec. Here's the daily. So there is a daily base breakout setting up, but it's very sloppy. Over 7, I would give it to 550. Can use also the tighter stop at 6, but I'd give it to 550 so as to not get shaken out of it. Now you might be wondering, hey, like what are we thinking this is gonna look like once it breaks out? And the way it looks if it breaks out and works, it looks something like this, QTWO. You see what I mean? It breaks out and then boom. Or Spotify. I think Spotify was another one. Transitioned. So that's what, that's not all of them keep going. Some of them pop a little bit and then they come crashing down. But sometimes they pop and they never look back. So that's what I'm looking for, basically. TWLO is another one. So it's not a great daily, but look at the weekly. Look at the monthly. And look at the weekly. TWLO is looking really nice. It's up a lot of bars in a row, but here's the idea. Would be over the whole thing. 65 something, 65.10. Stop right here. Long-term play. One could use the tight stop, but the sloppier the pattern, the wider the stop has to be, because the sloppier, it means the less likely to follow through. So if it's sloppy, then I wouldn't use the tight stop. You see what I mean? I'd just use the big stop and either take more risk or just start off with small normal risk and look to add more shares later on. UIS, I didn't talk about it, but it's another one of those transition A on the monthly. So long over 590, stop under 330, or maybe one can place the stop. No need for 330, just under the weekly pivot, which is $5. So over $6 instead of $5.90, it's over 6 by 5. Target 1.8, maybe target 2.12. So this looks good. UIS and VZ is already an open position, but check out the monthly one, the weekly 1, 2, 3, 4. So I like it a lot. Long right here. Stop either under the little green bar or under the red bar. I'd go with the red bar to be safe. The AT&T also is looking good. So here's the AT&T daily buy setup, looks good also. And the Zoom, we talked about it last week on the buy setup, or the week before, I think. It's so triggered. It's not going very much, but it looks good on the monthly. It looks good. The TWLO maybe looks a little bit better, and the PayPal looks a little bit better, but you don't know. We don't know which one is gonna be the next big winner. So you try and play all the ones that set up, that give you a pattern. The shorts, as usual, when the market is bullish, the bearish list is not very good, as usual. So here it is, the CNXC short under the low, stop right here, or in other words, as a 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, what if it goes higher instead? Then no harm, no foul. I wouldn't play it long, but I wouldn't, but no harm, no foul if it goes higher. The FDMT is really bearish. It already broke down on Thursday, but it's probably not too late to join in if that's what you want. The PGNY has been basing, wasn't able to participate with the market rally at all, so just under the base right here, maybe stop right here on the PGNY, and then the PGY is 1, 2, 3 after a really nice gap down that I called short in the room on Thursday, that we played short in the room. So short under this bar's low, which is 980, stop over 1050 on the PGY, and who knows how much more this could go. So those are just, those are the only 4 items that I like short. Somebody reached out to me and said Tesla, they're shorting it because it already moved up to resistance. Please, moving up to resistance resistance is not a strategy. Support is not a strategy. You can't just short at resistance or buy at support unless you have a pattern. If you have a pattern at resistance, then it stacks the odds in your favor. If you have a pattern at support and you play long, again, you're putting the odds in your favor. But you can't just simply short because the stock is at resistance. We're in it long in the newsletter. In fact, we have two positions in it. TSLL, I'm using the leveraged Tesla, and it's also cheaper, so more members of the newsletter can buy it. So we have 2 positions in it, 2 plays on it, right here on the breakout and on the buy setup. So, and it's actually already at target 1, on the TSLL, and it also pays a dividend on top of that. But Tesla, I think, eventually will be higher to maybe $400. I'm not joking. I mean, I think some of you think, oh, I'm just throwing out a number. This is a big transition happening on Tesla. Now, it is at resistance, and that's why, it's at target 1, but hopefully it doesn't fall apart after the robotaxi unveil next month in 10 days or so, and maybe keeps going. And then where to? I'm thinking to here somewhere. 300, 350, 400, eventually, not right away, eventually. So that's the Tesla. Okay. All right. Hope this was a very long very long video. Hope you learned some things, more than one thing. And if you did stick around, I appreciate it. I'd appreciate if you hit the like button and reach out with any questions. Wish you all the best with your trading next week. I am Sami with T3 Live. Good trading, everybody. Take care.